Good.
So, good morning, Buckso.
Morning, Anne-Marie.
You always brighten up my morning. We were just having a little chat then offline, and I was just saying I feel a little bit under the weather today, but seeing your beautiful face and your energy just inspires me to get motivated. So
that's lovely to hear.
You this early because you'll motivate the rest of my day with your energy. So I'll just explain to everybody like how we're in contact with each other. You're just in the early days of starting with the Soul Awakening Academy, and you've embarked on the life coach training practitioner diploma. And one of the reasons that you've decided to train with the academy is because of the accreditation the life coach diploma holds. Is that right?
That's right. Yes, absolutely.
You're already in this field of coaching people anyway, with your confidence and your mindset workshops, etc. And this really is a passion of yours, isn't it? And you want to take this as far and wide as you can.
Yeah.
And you started these BC lifestyle events as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Set up an events company at the beginning of the year because I wanted it to be a sort of an offshoot of being able to help people with what they're doing with their new business, and through social media, and putting on an actual physical event where the attending public could find out what is available for them in the area of the Derbyshire and East Midlands. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And you've written a couple of ebooks as well that are available to people, and it's about resilience and confidence. So tell us a little more about yourself, really, because for those who don't know you, you have really, if anybody can talk about motivation, mindset, confidence, and creating the life of your dreams, it's, in my eyes, you.
Oh, thank you.
You've gone from having a life that was kind of mapped out for you culturally to being true to yourself and really knowing on a soul level that path was just not for you, and you had a desire to be an actress, but no inroads to it. You just had a desire in your heart, but you made that happen for yourself. So tell us about your backstory, really.
Okay, so I originally come from Stoke-on-Trent. I'm living in Derbyshire at the moment. So I was 16 when we came to Derbyshire. And I'm sort of middle child of 6 kids. Parents, first generation Indian immigrants, came over in 1957. And basically their only thing in life was to survive, really. They had to look after 6 kids, feed them, clothe them, run a house. And when you come to a new country and don't know how it works, you just kind of get on with it. But here's me piping up at the age of 14 that I wanted to be a singer and get into that sort of industry. It's just something that I found. I'd got a voice because, I don't know if some of you might remember, some of us post 40, most of us actually, will remember Why Don't You, the kids programme.
Yes.
In the 80s. And I sang the theme tune to that.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was quite by chance. And that's when I realised I got a voice. So I was thinking, well, actually, I really like the way that made me feel. I like what that did. I like that atmosphere, that environment. I love that. So I picked drama and music at GCSEs. Left school with none.
Just watch your microphone, Buckso. It's just...
I'm moving it around, yeah.
Just watch your microphone. It's just causing a bit of friction on the volume, that's all.
I left school with 4 Ds, 2 Es and 2 Fs. So no GCSE passes at all, no qualifications of any to speak of. So my dad, when 3 months into my YTS travel and tourism, because it was YTS back then.
Yes.
Yes. 3 months in.
Wow.
Not this apprenticeship malarkey where you get paid nearly 4 times as much per week. £30 a week we used to get. I was Rothschild of that money, I tell you. So 3 months into that, my dad said, we're moving to Derbyshire. And I was gutted, absolutely gutted. I was had big ideas of going into travel and all of that, because I thought, well, I don't know how I'm going to do the singing and acting because nobody's here to help me to do that, no support. So I just went with the flow, really, and went for the next best thing because I love travel as well.
Right.
So we moved to Derbyshire. My dad bought a business. I had to be the person that ran the business. So from the age of 16, 17, I was kind of running the grocer shop that he bought. And sort of just bumbled along really in life until I thought, you know what, this having no money malarkey, because obviously family business, you don't get a wage. I was like, I can't be doing this. So I started work at the airport and work there 3 days on, 3 days off, but I'd come back and work in the shop when I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So it pretty much went on like this for about 7, 8 years. And from there, I went to the railway, met my husband at the railway, who was Caucasian, though he's English. And of course, that opened another Pandora's box. So obviously being from Indian descent, it wasn't something that went down very well. So I lost my family for about 5, 7 years.
Wow.
So obviously I was left to my own devices. And once we got married, well, within the first 4 years of being together, I lost my family. He lost his brother. He passed away. We got married and we had twins. So a lot of things happened in those 4 years of getting together. We never actually got a chance to, our feet to touch the floor, really, because we just reacted to everything that went on.
Yeah.
So as a result of me being in the railway, I would have probably gone on to management or something if I'd stayed there. But I couldn't go back with twins because there was no such thing as job share then, 16.
Right.
So I left. And again, didn't know what was going to be for me. I felt like a pinball in a pinball machine. You just hit from pillar to post with them little paddles. Yeah. And that went on. And so I was like, 5 years later, I was thinking, so this is in 2003, 4. I thought, what shall I try? So the jobs that I went for were Asda, checkout, 3 months I lasted on there, bored. Then I went to call centre, worked at egg banking for 10 months.
Right.
Couldn't cope with that, but in the meantime, I did a beauty therapy course because I really enjoyed everything to do with beauty therapy. Did that, left egg, started part-time doing the beauty, really enjoyed that. But a year later, I was still like, something's not right. I'm not feeling the vibe for this. I do enjoy doing it, but I wonder what it'd be like for acting. I know I can't do anything per se, but background, supporting artist, I'll go for that. So I started with an agency that does background work, and I did that for a year, but I had to always ask the other girl that I was job sharing with to cover my shifts if I got 24-hour notice to go somewhere to do something.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't go down very well, so she kind of like left. So I had to stop I left the beauty as a result and thought, right, what should I do now? Thankfully, my friend set up a training company, and while she'd set that up, I was introduced by a friend to my current agent.
Right.
Yes, so he said, I've just met this guy in London and he set up his own agency. I think he'll really like you. I said, well, I told him everything, been transparent from the beginning. I told him I'm not qualified. He said, no, nothing, just let the other. He said, yeah, but I think he'll love you. So I went down, auditioned really badly for him because having had no official training of any sort, I didn't realise that you didn't pick a monologue from a well-known piece. It was meant to be something that was relevant to your age and kind of roles you were looking to play.
Wow.
So I went for this sexy, high-kicking vixen out of Chicago, which obviously was not me at the time, but I took direction. He told me how to do things, do it this way, do it that way. I did that well, and he took me on as a result. So 3 months in to being with him in 10 years ago, I got my first role on Corrie.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was the start of my path, really. It was never planned.
And it's certainly been a coloured path for you, because do me a favour, Buckso, just lift your microphone away from your top.
Because is that better?
I think it's rubbing, it's causing a bit of friction.
Let me take my earphones out, see if that works. Right, so can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so your path is just exploded really with your acting skills, because now you've gone on to star alongside one of the world's most famous actors in a blockbuster movie that'll be premiered next year. Is that right?
I believe it's going to be about May time, unless things change. I mean, you never know. It's never set in stone, is it?
So, talk about a path and great strides. You've kind of just, everything that you've just described is somebody that could have easily given up, basically. If you didn't have the inner strength and the courage and the resilience, the mindset, obviously, all of that to keep going, you could have easily just given up and thought, this is too bloody hard.
Yeah.
And make a career out of the normal 9-to-5 job that you were in.
And that's what is the thing that everybody does. It's a default thing for human beings. It really is. And I had got to the point where I was in a situation where actually, which kind of proves the point, if you have no choice but to go forward and carry on going forward, you just do it. And it was almost like I was like this in life, you know what I mean? I can't go there because of this situation.
Yeah.
Because of this. So it's almost like I didn't have a choice. I wasn't made to go forward. And then I got to the point where it was, I'd gone past the halfway mark of no return. I couldn't go back to what I had known life to be, because I'd done a lot of personal development as well a year after the kids are born.
Yeah, right.
Started really looking into personal development and self-development because I was going through so much inner turmoil. And I wasn't going for counselling. I wasn't very much a person who wanted counselling at the time. I didn't really think it was something for me. But I did a lot of self-work, and that started off going down the Reiki route, you know, to level 3. And I went and did Reiki with 2 or 3 different people, actually, as it came to be. I was searching for something. I know I was looking for something to fix me or to fix something going on. Do you know what I mean? So even I'd done the Reiki level 2, I'd try to meet somebody, I'd be like, oh God, why couldn't I have done it with you? Then I'd do it with them. So I was wasting money. I was throwing money away like nobody's business. But it was like somebody else that might have an addiction to alcohol. They would just, you know, knock that back, or drugs. I was actually channeling my addictive behavior to somebody to fix me. Do you know what I mean? And self-development was the key thing at the end of the day. Now looking back, that started, I picked up the Celestine Prophecy. That's a book. Back then, couldn't understand a word of it. And that's because my mind wasn't in the right slots to engage with what was being said in the book. So I picked it up since and have read it, no problems at all. So that's a sign of sort of evolving there. But the reason I went down the route with yourself was because I'd never invested in my education. I hadn't gone to college, I hadn't gone to uni because I wasn't given the opportunities to do it. I hadn't gone to drama college. And at 35, when I looked into the acting and got into the acting, I wasn't going to pay for drama school then either. It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't feasible. So for me, never having invested in myself financially in that respect to educate myself, I knew I had to do something. Even though people say, yes, but life experience, Buckso, that's what a life coach needs. That's what you're going out there with. And it's all good and well doing that, but I still felt an imposter syndrome. It was bad enough that I had that with the acting side of things, you know, the imposter syndrome and waiting to get found out that you're not properly trained. You know, it's like, why would I put myself in that situation a second time around? Because there's plenty of people out there that are ready to pull you down and say, where did you train? Where did you qualify? And it's not actually a governed body, you know, it's not an actual regulated body of area coaching is. So, you know, I could have been one of those people that just thought, well, it's not being regulated by anybody. Who cares? But no, I cared because I needed to know that if I want people to invest in what I'm doing for them, why haven't I invested in myself? So if I can't pay myself to be educated on something and get a certification, then why should anybody else? You know? So that's where.
And it is important. And there are so many courses out there, and there's so many coaches out there. And, you know, one of the biggest, facets to being a coach is life experience. You know, you're right. To have empathy, compassion, and understanding for someone, you kind of had to have had some kind of challenge that, you know, it's not just as easy as saying, well, I've got a goal, and what's your problem? Just get on and do it. You know, when we have our own challenges, it brings in a sense of compassion and empathy for other people and what they go through. So life experience is a big key factor to coaching. But you're right, you know, having an accredited course means, and the same reasons I wanted my course accredited was because I had all this fantastic, I thought was fantastic content, but I needed to make sure, I needed that stamp of seal of approval that an outside body had looked at me and gone, yeah, what you're putting out there is valuable for people. So it was the confidence that I needed to really promote and market the academy. So one of your quotes that I absolutely love is about supporting women so they feel empowered to do anything.
Yeah, that was it. Because I had no support, you know, and I suppose to this day I still don't have the support. I don't have anybody saying to me, you go and get it, Buckso, you go and do that. You can do it. You know, why don't you try this? Have you tried that? Yes, whatever you want to do, I'm behind you 100%. I've never had anybody verbalize that to me and say that. You know what I mean? Yes, you've got support with your husband who does what he does around the house and keeps that going. Without him, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing anyway. The credit where it's due. And some people aren't able to give you that. So don't put put the onus on them to give that. And then there's part of it where you have to find your own strength and your own belief as well. Because if you can only function with outside support for so long, you've got to have self-belief in what you're doing and why you're doing it. And if you're being true to yourself about why you're doing something, there's no reason why you shouldn't succeed at it. And that's why I knew I had to do that. I had to do the acting. I went for singing lessons, and my parents used to think I was doing it as a bit of a skive off to go down to the pub and whatnot, which was true to a certain degree because I'd go afterwards. But you see, I had a very strict upbringing, so I couldn't go to pubs and clubs until I was 24. I didn't experience pubs and clubs until I was 24, so I led a very sheltered life to that point as well. So yes, I did lose it as well. Once that kicked off for the first 2 years, I went crazy. So, as you would, a caged bird, isn't it? So it's there. So I've kind of experienced everything that you can in life, really. But when it comes down to with the acting work that I've done for the last decade, and I still work as an actor as well, I don't want that to be the thing that I'm on about. It's because I think as an actor, you need to have more to you. As a human being, you need to have more to you than just what you do for a job or just what that shouldn't be one thing that defines you. It should be a collection of who you are, So that's why I went down the confidence coach and mindset mentor, because confidence isn't just about being on stage, because everybody's like, well, it's okay for you, Bucks, you're an actress, you do this all the time and whatnot. But I've still got to go through something. My comfort zone is all relative to what I've achieved so far. It might be bigger than where yours is at, but I've still got to go through a comfort zone process. And so being confident isn't just being able to stand on stage. Being confident is knowing that you fear something, you're scared of doing something, you're afraid, going through it, stepping forward, knowing that you do feel that way, and going out the other side, looking back and saying you've achieved it, doing that over and over again. That's where you get more confident from doing it again.
Yeah, through pushing through that growth factor, if like that famous quote, feel the fear and do it anyway. As human species, we're designed to grow, and it's only when we have an uncomfortable or pressure on us does that then give us the catalyst to grow. And you're completely right about the comfort zone. So just a couple of things, because I know you've got an appointment.
Oh, no, I've had that appointment's pushed forward now, so a bit more, so it's okay. Yeah.
We've got a little bit more time. Okay, so just tell us, with all the people that you've seen and yourself, from the big stage to Broadway to the small acting jobs that you've done and to the people that you see in networking events, because it's not all about the big stage, the big screen. We need confidence. And we've discussed how you want to help people do their Facebook Lives. So from the everyday person like me, having to get up and speak at a network event, being asked to do a public speaking, which I hate, fear, my big fear, to standing up and doing a Facebook Live. What do you think, what advice would you give people who will watch this, who run their own business, who know the magnitude of social media and know that they have to start pushing themselves forward on camera in their business? What advice would you give to them, or a tip?
So basically what you've got to do is make sure that you're always prepared about what you're going to say. If you're starting out, I'm better off spontaneous, whereas I'll just put the camera up and say, right, I feel something right now. That's maybe a good starter. Mm-hmm. If you're affected by something, not for a rant, and I don't mean for a rant because something's got your goat. I mean, if you see something or have experienced something that day and you realize something about yourself, get up and do it, share that on your business page, because it doesn't always have to be about what you do and what you charge and how it works. Boring, you've got to make it interesting for people. You've got to make them want to come on. I mean, sometimes I don't take myself too seriously. That's key number one. Tip number one, don't take yourself seriously. At the end of the day, everybody feels the way you do about Facebook Live. You can guarantee that. But with 2.2 billion monthly active users on Facebook, you've got to tap into that market, because as a particular guy called Gary Vaynerchuk, have you heard of him?
Yeah.
He's fantastic to watch. I love his delivery. He speaks a bit too fast, but I just think that's his energy. But what he says about Instagram as well, and Facebook, getting on IGTV, which is the latest live thing from Instagram. Getting on there and getting comfortable on there is key for your business, because once the big boys like Coca-Cola, McDonald's and whatnot realize just how great advertising on Facebook and Instagram is, what you might have paid £5 for to reach 50,000 people will cost you 50 quid. Yeah. It's going to cost you more money because of the supply and the demand is going to increase. So that's tip number one. Always make sure that you are, I can't think what I said now. What did I say? Engaging in what you do. Don't take yourself too seriously. Sometimes I'll put those face templates on. You know, when you get those face templates on Facebook, I'll just whack one of those on, which gives an indication of the fact that, you know, it's entertaining what I'm going to do. You're entertained at the same time. It's about that, you know, making sure that people want to keep watching you and stay watching you as well. Make sure that you've written down 5 points. Make it short and sweet. Don't have it longer than 2-3 minutes. Tell people if you want to as well. Going live at 7 p.m. Where I'm just going to touch on 5 points. What you can do better to make your graphic design more hard hitting. Do you know what I mean? So this is all in my head at the minute. So talk about 5 points, and you'll have the 5 points listed there. Say, you know, you don't have to be like this thinking, oh, I can't look at my list. Say, you know, oh, I've got my list here. Oh, what have I got on here? Oh, what's number one? Right, yeah. You know, just be open. People want to see how rubbish you think you are, you know, and that's fine. That's what people relate to. Relatability factor is what you want from your viewers. Number 3, give them call to action. You can make it number 5 if you want to, but always make sure you've got a call to action in there. So if you like what I've said today and want some more information, sign up for my free newsletter. The link's in the thingy below. Always leave a link, always leave a call to action, leave a signpost to your website or something like that. But if you can give a freebie away, you know, it's the same freebie for that month. You have a month, every month you have something free you can give them, like a newsletter or signing up to some free information. Do you know what I mean? It's nice to be able to do that. Lighting. I've got my little, what's the name here?
Oh, that's really good.
Yes, just that. I mean, I don't know if it makes a big difference. Not massive.
No, it's important, isn't it?
Yeah, lighting is key as well. And don't worry about where you've got to look. I mean, I'm looking right now. There is the camera.
Yeah.
Camera. So I don't know if that makes you feel different, because can you tell I'm not looking at you?
A tiny bit. Only a tiny bit, because I know you've just been looking at me. No,
So, and that doesn't matter. That can be a bit off-putting for people just to talk to a little black pinhole. But after a while, you get used to it. And in a way, you can still, I'm still looking at it. So in a way, you can sort of get lost in that. Or have your notes right behind it on a little clipboard or a whiteboard or a flip chart, just so you look up and look at your points, you know. Don't make it difficult for yourself. You can over-plan it as well, which will be shown in the way you're speaking. So, yes, does that answer some questions you like me to?
Some really good tips in there, actually. I like that about having 5 points, you know, the notes behind the camera and things like that, because quite often when you go into a bit of a panic, your brain just shuts off, and obviously the science behind why it does that, but your prefrontal cortex just goes.
Well, let me tell you when that happened to me, because I do have moments where I lose my you know. And you can get too complacent, and you think you're bobbing along, and it's like, oh, life is good, I'm getting good at this. But you get caught short. So when I was filming for last year for Emmerdale, it was the storyline with the rape scene, I think. I forget the name of the character now.
Right.
Rona, that's it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Rona's rape from her husband.
Yeah.
Played the detective that was looking after the case. And we were doing the scene in the kitchen, whatnot, filming it all. And I was like, okay, that scene's a wrap, right? Okay, I just got to go. And she's like, well, no, we've got another scene now. And I was like, which one's that? You know, when they feel the blood running from your face, and you've got that camera that's like that moment when you see in films, the camera's here in the background, goes really far away and they get really close. I had that feeling of like, which seems that? I genuinely did not know what she was talking about. And because when I'd got the script at home, I'd had it 3 weeks beforehand, bearing in mind, I had plenty of time to learn it. And she said, this is the one. And it was wordy between me and her, an exchange. I nearly died. I was like, I really didn't know. I said, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do in this situation? And luckily, she kind of jumped in and said, well, I don't mind going on to the next scene if, you know, the actor's ready. And then after that, we had a break of an hour. So I had 90 minutes to learn this scene, and I learned it. And I tell you now, that was horrible. That was horrible. But I kept me cool, because what else could I do?
Exactly.
You have these fleeting moments fleeting through your head, thinking, my God, I'm responsible for this. This is called wasting money. If I don't do this scene, it's going to cost a lot of money. I'm going to have to come back. Or they'll have to do it later on. The crew will have to all stay behind for me. So I was propelled by inside. Because they have 11-hour days as it is, 12-hour days starting at 6 in the morning, these guys do. And it's like, I'm not going to be responsible for that. It's not landing on my shoulders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what she said, though? A lot of actors just live their day-to-day life like that. They just walk in, haven't looked at the script, look at it 10 minutes before they go on, and they're always making mistakes. But then you get to the point where, when you've got something regular doing like that, you'll pick up it gets easier.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. If I'm not learning lines for months at a time, I find it harder to learn them.
Right.
If I've got to learn every month, it's a lot easier. So it really is the old adage, practice makes perfect. Just however trite that sounds, it really is.
And I love the fact, because we had a chat about this the other day, and about the workshops that you're going to put on for people to help them in business. And, you know, one of the key things that you said to me, and I thought, that's so good, you need to tell people this, is the famous actors that you've seen worked alongside, the big boys, you know, down to yourself, is you've learnt and you've watched them work alongside with their fear. And you said it's like this energy that builds up inside them, like adrenaline, and they have techniques. And some guys will do press ups. I think you do the AEIOU, so you get your. Yeah. But it's just about expending that energy.
I was in a bit.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's okay. Saying my connection's a bit dodgy. You said it's about getting rid of that energy and just working alongside your fears. So I think that's a really good point, because quite often, you know, people can get so hung up about not feeling this way, or they start to feel that feeling in their belly, their heart will start racing, the fight and flight, and they start to basically lose control, because they lose control of their brain and body connection.
Yes, yeah.
But if you can teach them how to work alongside and work with it.
Exactly. I mean, if you think about it, fight or flight is there to keep you safe, right? Because it needs to know whether you've got to fight to save your life or run the hell out of there, right? So basically, what your body wants to do is a lot of work at that point. That's why it's getting your body ready to your cardiovascular system's kicking in. So that's where you go a bit like this. You know, you think you've ran 10 miles by the time you get on stage. So the best thing you can do is vocalize. So I'm just going to do something now, shall I?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So what you can do is, yes, I have a, you know, singing lessons. And what's wrong with having them for yourself? Yeah. You know, you don't have to be a singer just to do that. And it's all about controlling your breath when you're doing it. So this is going to be a bit loud, so we'll apologise now about how loud it's going to be. I haven't got earphones. So it is, and the reason I go through AEIOU, because they're all sounds that you make. So if you can just because, you know, I bet sometimes when people have got to do something that's fearful, they just want to go, ah, you know, scream their heads off. So just control that. So, I'm doing that control because I can. You don't have to do it that loud. You do as loud as you want to. People have even shouted in their lives ever. They don't even know what it sounds like at top. You know, it's maximum capacity, and it scares them. So if you don't like the sound of your own voice, you're going to talk lower and lower, mumble, and nobody's going to hear what you're saying. But really get to love and hear the sound of your voice. Don't get me wrong, I can hear myself there, but recorded and played back on telly, I won't watch myself because I don't like it. And that's all there is to it. Not because of any particular reason. I just think, I sound like that. Everybody thinks that way. I'm not going to sit there and lose my, you know, over it. I'm just going to be like, that's how I sound, and I've been like that from day one. I can't do anything about that. Wish I'd, you know, pronounce my letters a bit more, but that's something that I'm always going to be critique about. You'd always have healthy self-criticism.
No, I like that. It's good. It's good. It's good advice to people to, if they're going to do a big presentation and they start this adrenaline, what do you do with that adrenaline? You're either going to let it take over you and feel like you can't control your body, or you can control your body and release some of that adrenaline so you become more centered, and that you can keep control of your voice and your breathing and just become more grounded and present to what you're actually wanting to deliver.
I mean, even as you're going to wherever it is that you might be doing this speaking thing, or having to be on stage and be a bit more confident, if you're in the car, sing along like nobody's been. Your favourite music, put your favourite music on, not just the radio. Have a little compilation. I've got it. My title's called What I'm Talking About. That's what I call it. It's what I'm talking about. I go, that's what I'm talking about. You know, when they come on, I just have a compilation of those songs that are on, and I whack them up really high and get into it. And it gets the energy going, gets the blood moving around the body in preparation. So when you get into the venue, you're bouncing around anyway. The energy's there. Hard to go from 0 to 60 on stage if you're not already halfway there. So you've got to get yourself halfway there to begin with. And if you've got that energy building up inside you, push against the wall. Sounds strange, feels weird. I'll try and do it here. It's just a case of like pushing it as hard as you can into the wall like that. That's also using some energy. You know what I mean? That's also expending some energy, because you've got to, I mean, I couldn't get down and do 10 press-ups. I wouldn't get up. But there's some people that can, and do that if you need to. Just expend some energy. I mean, you might need to find a toilet floor that's clean to go and do it in, but
really good advice. So what's next for Buckso then? Because I know I've started a little group. It's a book that I'm writing at the minute called Successful, Sassy and Spiritual, and made you part of the group so we can share some empowerment tips to help spiritual women in business, because at the end of the day, real life, real business, it can be really hard work. And there are lots of pitfalls. So, you know, it's my passion to help people get over and get through the pitfalls. And it's about bringing people like you in to share their expertise. So when a woman wakes up in the morning and the kids had them up all night and they just want to stay in bed all day, cry, eat chocolate, you know, forget the business. I've nearly done it myself. Last week, I got so overwhelmed with the course that I'm writing that my brain literally shut down. I couldn't even think about what I was writing about anymore. My brain just crumbled on me. And it was a case of my brain was saying, just forget it. It's rubbish. Don't even do it. But then the other part of me realized what was happening and was, I just need to take a break. And I walked away from it for a bit. So
it's about being self-aware. Just do things. Find out what it is that you need to do to become self-aware. Personally, I don't, and I should, but I'm not going to beat myself up over it because I'm aware meditation is key. Okay, so I can't function doing it day to day in the daytime, just sat there doing it. But at night, I put on in my earphones on my phone on YouTube. I've got a little playlist in there that I just play through. It can carry on playing while I'm asleep. Subliminal binaural beats. Okay? Give you messages into your ears, you know, one ear, different ear, popping in, popping out, popping in. That all the time, every night without fail, I put that something into my ears, and that's my bit for myself. You know what I mean? For my mind, that's my bit. I'm doing something. You know what I mean? Even if it's like I say, I fall asleep, it's still going into the subconscious brain. You've got to do things. You've got to help yourself as much as you can by doing things. I need to go to the, I need to start going to the gym more. I need to go start doing full stop. But it's not something that's at the top of my list. But I know I'm aware I've got to do it. And it's just being aware and like not beating yourself up over it, because there's things that come along that are going to take more time. But like you say, put some time away. When you're a self-employed person in business, you need to have a support network around you, which is why you have the groups that you've got. And it's not about perfection, because once you have perfection, what's left for you to do?
That's a killer. That perfectionist, and I do have that trait a little bit, but that is a killer. And I think it's one of the biggest thing that can thwart your growth is that feeling of it's not good enough, it needs to be perfect, I can't put that out there, oh my god, that inner critic. And this is something that you'll learn on the coaching, like how we talk to ourselves and how we can nurture ourselves and become our own mother in a way, because a lot of it comes down to that inner child, that fear of criticism, judgment, So
I mean, I didn't have what you would call, because obviously one of 6 kids, my mum didn't have time to scratch her backside, bless her, so it's no fault of hers, but I didn't have that female influence in my life, that mothering, that therefore made me a very tough exterior, made me a very a tough person to penetrate, as it were. So, you know, the heart center, which is what it's all about, heart center. If you're not open from here and feeling things, not like to the extreme where you just cry at the drop of a hat. If you're not open here in your heart to things that are out there, you don't ever. So that's another, you know, Pandora's box that I'm opening here. But if you're not, you're never going to be in alignment with what you're meant to be doing. And that's why the title of yours was Soul Awakening. Because I was in a position now this year where I've been trying to find out what my soul wants me to do.
Oh yeah, I love that. Well, that's probably a really nice place to end, Buckso. So we'll put the links into your books as well, because you've got 2 books on Amazon that are available.
Just one.
Okay.
Yeah. Right in a minute.
Yeah, I know you are. We talked about it and you were like, come on, where's yours? I was like,
Yeah. Honestly, we've all got one in us, yeah.
So when this newsletter goes out, I will put links to you as well, because you are currently already running workshops with the BC lifestyle events and the information that you want to deliver through businesses as well to help them. So there's
one-to-one, and
the one-to-one. So there's loads in store for you, and I'm going to help promote you as much as I can, because I'm as passionate as you are about what you do and helping empower women. So I'm glad we met.
Yeah, me too.
So have a good day, my darling, and I'll speak to you later.
Will do.
All right, babes. Take care.
Cheers.